The acceleration of EV deployment not only impacts car makers and commodities-related companies, it also raises a series of new challenges for power sectors all across the globe, in particular Europe, which will be our area under focus. First and foremost, at this still early stage of market development, further expansion of EVs entails further development of EVSE, that is, electric vehicle supply equipment. This is because the availability of charging infrastructure plays an important role for the consumer's high psychological decision to switch from ICEs to EVs. Looking at EVSE deployment, experiences thus far, we find that it's not a given because, one, the value chain is complex, involving a set of different assets and players with not only charging points, owners and operators, but also utilities involved in power generation and distribution, and hardware and software manufacturers. Two, investment needs are huge in the EU, up to 32 billion euros by 2030, but with no clear players having emerged thus far to undertake these investments. In the absence of a proper business model for charging points, it is unclear at this stage who will deploy EVSE. Will it be utilities, car makers, oil and gas companies? Also, to what extent governments will be involved in the financing of incremental EVSE? These questions remain unanswered at this stage. Having said that, and assuming Bloomberg New Energy Finance scenario of EV deployment proves true in Germany and France, what could be the implications for the utilities sectors of EU's two biggest economies? First, from a supply-demand balance perspective, power demand from EVs is set to grow dramatically in the two countries in the next decade, but EVs are expected to only account for 4% of aggregate demand by 2030 and will only substitute to falling demand elsewhere. This is why we believe that rapid EVs expansion is unlikely to create a gap to fill in terms of demand satisfaction. Second, looking at power networks' ability to cope with increased intermittence on the demand side, it has to be put into the specific context of intermittent renewable production sources developing exponentially in Germany and to a lesser extent in France. Renewable energies will reach 59% and 26% of the two countries' electricity demand by 2030 in BNEF's scenario. Because of this, the challenge on the demand side seems of lesser relevance than the one on the supply side. Better still, we see the gradual emergence of new technologies enabling EVs to return electricity to the grid, but also of car batteries used to provide electricity to home appliances at peak consumption hours. In both cases, further development of EVSE may offer new solutions to store electricity and manage power grids.